today's episode is going to really be fun because we are going to talk about ways that meditation can increase the quality of your sex life and your love life. And I come up with the typical research on meditation, what was found from scientific research, and also some tips that I include in my classes, which really come from my French culture, because this is who I am, and I thought it would be fun to incorporate that in there to give you a little bit of spiciness and variety. So let's go. By the way, before I start with the meat of the subject, know that we are live every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page. And this week, since we're talking about meditation, I will take you in a mini meditation, some kind of a sample of a meditation that I usually run with my classes, so that you can experience it and you can interact, ask questions, anything you want. And now let's talk about how meditation, even if you have never tried it, you thought about trying it, but it seems impossible, it seems boring, it seems that you have to sit like a guru in India. That's not the case in our culture here. Meditation is more perceived as a way to relax your mind, to relax your body, and there are many kinds of meditation, which, as I was talking with someone who comes from India and who is a spiritual teacher, she was telling me that for her, it's not real meditation. What we call here in the West, meditation is not always what she recognizes as meditation. But I will go with our approach here because we are in America, and that way it will give you a way to start with it if you're intimidated by it. Because if you go for the real hardcore meditation right away with extended time, it can be overwhelming, it can lead you to failure. Let's dive into the ways that meditation can affect and impact your sex life. We're going to start with some, and they are not exclusive, there are way more, but I just selected a few today, some emotional benefits. When you meditate, one of the emotional benefits that you will get is that you will learn to be more present. And when you are more present, you can, of course, respond to your partner. And since making love is also about not only feeling ourselves, but sharing with the other and pleasing the other, when you are present in the moment, you can intuitively be guided to what the other person would like based on the reaction of the other person. So that's an amazing way to increase the intensity of the experience. And especially if you practice some meditations to sharpen your senses. I've done that with some students who were not very familiar with meditation, and we worked on each one of our senses. And that's where I say that maybe in French, it's something that prevails in my way to approach love, sex, because it's a sensory experience. So you want to be able to have all your senses involved. And in the class that I teach about inner sexy, there is an exercise involving food and intimacy. I mean, using food to develop the intensity of your intimacy. And that's always very, very fun to look at women. And it's nothing like where you have to be naked or nothing like that, but it's an exercise that helps you sharpen your senses. And I always get women are surprised by their reaction. because although it's simple, it's not something that they're used to practice. It's not something that they've been taught to practice. And it's always a pure joy for me to look at their reactions. It's fun. It's very fun. So you are more present. When you are more present, you can experience more. You can respond better. You can also, meditation will help you develop some self-awareness. So you will be more in your body. And same thing, when you are present in your body, when you have awareness of your body, your sensations are, how do you say, emphasized. And you experience more. So it's going to be stronger than it would be if you were just somewhere else, if your mind was somewhere else, and you were not really completely present with the sensations of your body. Another emotional benefit of meditation is that you are going to develop your imagination and your creativity. And that also brings spiciness in the bedroom because you can be creative. Think about playing with stuff that you would not normally play with, and just get some ideas. And it's always fun because it brings variety. It's not always the same thing. You somehow not even sometimes know what to expect from yourself, because if you're really in the creative flow, it will come out of you without you thinking about it in advance. So that's really a fun element to add to your intimacy, to your sex life. You will also be able to develop more thought control when you meditate, which leads us back to the experience of the moment, because we know that we perceive based on how we think and what we believe. So when you have more thought control, you can also direct your sensation. You can also linger in a pleasureful feeling. You can order your brain to increase the intensity of a feeling or not. Let me give you an example. Let's do an exercise. Close your eyes and think about a beautiful lemon. And now see yourself in your mind eye cutting the lemon. See yourself putting a little bit of salt on that piece of lemon, and now bite in the lemon. Really be into the experience. If you have done the visualization at 100%, you should be salivating now. So that shows you that our thoughts have an effect on what we feel. And since we're talking about intimacy, we know very well that when people have a fantasy, it's all in their head, but there their body reacts. So thought control, you can direct your thought to increase, intensify the experience. Now let's go into benefits of meditation that are more physical. Meditation reduces stress. And people who are extremely stressed, who have high level of stress, have a lot of an hormone called cortisol. And when you have too much cortisol, that can result in an incapability to experience orgasm, or have more, if you want, dull orgasms compared to what they could really be. So that's one way that it will impact your self-life, your sex life, because you'll be less stressed, more relaxed, more open to the moment, and more able to feel at a physical level, not an emotional level. The fact that meditation reduces stress too will make you feel and look younger. And that impacts your feeling of being sexy or not too. Because when you feel sexy, you are more free with your body, you are more at ease in intimacy, and that will also let you experience in a freer way. Because you know, if you're all thinking about your insecurities, about a little bit of fat here, how old you are, you're not going to be able to experience as much as if you are really immersed into the experience. So reducing the stress, feeling younger, feeling more beautiful, looking for more beautiful, because we know that people who meditate, they have a certain glow on their skin. So that's one of the physical benefits. Meditation will also give you more energy, so you don't fall asleep on the pillow at night instead of being involved with more fun activities. You'll have more energy to engage. It will also slow down the degeneration of your body and your brain, and that ties into the staying younger. So you're sharper, you feel more at ease with yourself. And it will help you, and maybe that's both emotional and physical, because it will help you be more peaceful and not be as reactive as you would be without meditating. For example, somebody cuts you off on the freeway. What's your immediate reaction? If you are a person who meditates on a regular basis, and of course, it's never 100% because I meditate for years and I'm sometimes triggered. But in the majority of cases, you don't react as crazily. You know that person probably has a reason to do whatever they are doing, and it's not even your business, and you don't have to engage, frankly. I tell myself all the time, I refuse to dance that dance. I'm not entering the dance. I value my peace too much. I value my life too much. I value my fun and joy too much to go engage in a reaction. And sometimes you're able to, sometimes you're not so able to. But on a majority, you'll be more able to not react when you meditate, which leads to less physical reactions of, heartburns and high blood pressure and all that. That's going to happen from reacting in such a way. So we covered some benefits from meditation. And you see that there are many aspects on how meditation could help your sex life, enhance your sex life, enhance your love life too, because if you're less emotionally triggered, you're going to have a better relationship with your partner. Now, what are the most common mistakes that will come in your way regarding meditation? Mistakes that will make you feel not good about yourself. Maybe sometimes even like a failure, which is never good in the bedroom, because we can't really compartmentalize ourselves. If we don't feel great about ourselves, it's going to transpire in the bedroom, whether you want it or not, especially with women on top of it all. So, some of the mistakes. The first one, choosing a kind of meditation that does not fit you. I have some people around me. My daughter, for example, she's ADHD. I have 2 kids who are really ADHD, and she needs to move. And she found her balance. She does a lot of exercise, a lot of movement. When you ask her to sit still, instead of calming her, it's going to create some kind of anxiety. And that defeats the purpose. So same thing with you. When you sit down and try to practice some kind of stillness meditation, where you either try to fall into the gap in between the thoughts or follow the voice of somebody who's taking you on a guided meditation, or some kind of meditation where you are seated, what does it do to you? Does it trigger you? And it may change through the years. You may be able to do it later in your life, after you already trained your brain to do other kinds of meditation, like movement meditation. So Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga are movement meditations. There are also doing art. I have a friend who's now taking working with glass art class. And she finds herself so focused on what she's doing, letting her creativity flow. It's a meditation for her. It calms her body, it calms her mind. It has an amazing beneficial effect. That's also what's something that I would consider as a movement meditation, although it's maybe more like an activity meditation. We talked about meditations where we sit still. I want to give you other, maybe some different possibilities. So we talked about the one where you observe your thoughts, which is more like a mindfulness meditation. You observe and let them go. And you, at a certain point, will experience a gap in between thoughts. That, to me, if you can do that kind of meditation, if that's something that you are naturally oriented to, is like a candy for your soul. When you fall into that gap and it's somehow you dissolve into nothing because you don't have any more, the way I experience it at least, I don't have any identity anymore. I'm in between. Because our identity comes from our thoughts, from who we think we are. And when you are thoughtless, you melt into something, and it is delightful. It is some kind of, how do you call it? Not bliss. There is another word. It will come back to me. But it is absolutely, you can describe it in words. Ecstasy, that's why I was looking for the word and that's comparable to sex, to an orgasm. This kind of meditation gives you ecstasy of the mind, of your soul. It's amazing. So that's one kind. Another kind is a mantra meditation where you will focus on a series of words, or I also have people work with one word because words have energy and they are associated with certain feelings in our body. So you can focus on one word like be, just be. That means you don't do anything, you don't think, you just be. And if that resonates with you, then you use that word and you go back to it when you start drifting away into your thoughts. Or another word can be love, or peace, or openness if you want to receive any kind of word or series of words that can be in your language, or they can be somehow in Sanskrit, like home. You can repeat that over and over out loud or in your mind. I do some in Hebrew, shalom, because shalom is peace too. Any kind of word, of series of words that will give you a vehicle to attach your consciousness, your awareness to, so you don't drift, so you have an anchor. Those are some meditations. There are many others. The last one I wanted to mention is the kind of like a guided meditation, or what I sometimes call inner journeys, where you listen to someone's voice to direct your awareness. And those meditations are amazing to dialogue with your subconscious mind. They can trigger also beautiful emotions in the body, that's the goal. And they are directed toward a certain goal. Let's say you're going to do a guided meditation on opening to abundance, and the person is going to take you to a place where you receive, and it's overflowing with abundance. Things like that. I have some, on my website, I have a guided meditation to create your inner sanctuary. When you want to get guidance on a certain topic and you don't want to be in a place where you're going to judge yourself, a place where you're going to be surrounded with your, whatever you believe in, your spirit guides, your angels, your ancestors, any other energy beings, whatever your beliefs are. Because when you have a set place like this that you create, you are initially are going to create it, and then you can come back over and over. And if you have if you want to have, actually, I just got an idea. That's what we're going to do on Thursday on Facebook. We are going to create, I'm going to create for you a guided meditation on feeling more sexy, feeling sexier, awakening your inner sexy. So join us if you can. That's going to be fun. That covers the different kinds of meditation. So choose the one that fits with your personality. Otherwise, you will not have fun doing it. It's going to be more like a chore. You may even resent it. And because you will drop off, you're going to feel like a failure. That's the opposite of what we want. We want to do it to feel good. Second mistake, you start with too long too soon. Some people can start with longer 20-minute meditations. Others, I literally had a coaching client, we started with 1 minute at a time because her mind was so active. She could not calm down. So we started with 1 minute for a week, then we extended to 3 minutes, and then we increased the time. You want to set yourself for success. You want to feel good about yourself. Otherwise, you won't feel sexy. You won't feel valuable. So not too long too soon. Third mistake, expecting to become a yogi in 3 days. Guys, ladies, you are not going to start experiencing out-of-body experiences the first time you meditate. You are not going to become a guru right away. And you can hear my cat who is confirming. So don't have expectations that will disappoint you. And the last mistake I wanted to mention is to expect your thoughts to stop. Our brain is designed to think, and it's doing an amazing job at it. And don't expect that you're going to be able to go for half an hour with no thoughts at all. I don't know, maybe the Dalai Lama can do that, maybe some enlightened people on this earth can do that, but I've been doing some years and years of meditation, and it's just some glimpses here and there, and they will become more regular, they will become more often, but don't expect your thoughts to stop. Just acknowledge that you have a thought and let it go. No big deal. Don't make a big deal out of it. That concludes the mistakes that you can make with meditation. So I hope by now you have an idea of how meditation can really increase the quality of your love life, and that you are going to give it a try because it will change your life, not only in the bedroom, but everywhere. And you can start with 3 minutes a day, literally. And you can incorporate a few minutes of meditations during your day. What I do sometimes, I try to remember, sometimes I put reminders in my phone to just close my eyes for 2 minutes and take some intentional breath. So you count for 4, you inhale, or hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. And just that activity alone will calm your brain. And breathe from your nose because it will calm your brain more than if you breathe from your mouth. As long as you don't have to furnish an effort because you have a stuffy nose or something. Just that alone will teach your brain to calm down. The brain, I always remind you that the brain learns with repetition and emotion. So train it like you would train yourself to go skiing or to go dancing. The more you practice, the better you become. And one thing I would add, if you can, have a specific place to meditate, because 2 things are going to happen. And maybe put an intention before you're going to meditate. The intention is to increase your love life. Put an intention. Intention is powerful. You can have words or a paper or something in a place where you're going to meditate every day. Because two things will happen. First, the more you practice, the more your brain will literally associate that place with relaxing. Before you even sit down, it will start relaxing because it sees it. And on an energy level, the energy of that beautiful vibration of meditation, that high elevated energy, as long as you don't get frustrated with yourself when you meditate, that's not such a good deal. If there are days where you can do it, just get up and do something else. Do some movement meditation or do some tapping. That's what I did this morning. I could not meditate. My mind was too active. I was getting nervous with myself. I just tapped. The energy will linger, that beautiful elevated energy, and that will stay in your meditation chair or cushion or wherever you meditate. I hope I convinced you to at least try, and I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear if you tried and if it actually increased your love life, the quality of your love life and your sex life. I would be very happy to know that. Until I see you next week, remember, let's join on Facebook at 6:30 Pacific time this Thursday to practice a meditation to tap into your inner sexy. That's going to be fun. I wish you a very nice week, and I am your companion on the sacred healing journey that your dating life can transform into. Bye.